Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, a 106-year-old woman in England says her secret to longevity is chocolate and partying. What's yours?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Anxiety and resentment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Doubling
know
down
go
on
106
anxiety and resentment.
with that. You know what I'll double down on? Chocolate and partying. Yeah, I'm
Really?
with that.
No.
Oh, I'm with that.
No.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Anxiety and resentment. It's going to get me to at least, I don't know, well, I'm about 95 now, 2 years more. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Sam Darnold's future, Duke's prowess, and Jose Altuve's new position. But we begin today with Kyrie Irving tearing his ACL late in the first quarter last night on a drive to the basket against Sacramento. Irving went down and immediately signaled for a trainer. The ACL tear was diagnosed this morning, and Irving will be out for the rest of this season and maybe next as well. Wilbon, what now for Irving and the Mavericks?
Oh, Tony, nothing good. I mean, nothing good. I mean, I don't. We're all waiting to see if Anthony Davis could get back and Derek Lively could get back and, you know, Gafford could get back and can Dallas make a run and what? And can they play in a series against the Lakers early? Now the season is lost. What's next? If I was running the Mavericks, I would say, Anthony Davis, you're not playing the rest of this year. We're going to go the opposite Joel Embiid route. We're going to let Anthony Davis be the best he can be physically by just taking some months off and working with trainer, nutritionists, all those things that elite level NBA teams and players surround themselves with. We do that. Kyrie Irving is going to be essentially a free agent, player option, free agent. And I don't know what happens, Tony. What do you do if you're Dallas? How long do you wait to see what's going to happen to a 30-year-old or slightly older than person with a torn ACL? He was, you know, nothing's ever been wrong with Kyrie in terms of basketball. There was a time in which locker room-wise he seemed toxic. He got in Dallas, and he's been getting it done. He's turned into a leader, a responsible spokesman. He handled the trade in ways that were just amazing to me. Everything he said, he sounded the right note. He took the right approach. He was everything the franchise could want. And now this, I don't know where you go from here.
So you underestimated his age by a little bit. He's about to turn 33. He's older than you think.
Okay.
If you are right now the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison, you are done. You're done. I mean, maybe this creates a pool of sympathy, or maybe you can work the owners and you can say to the owners, it really would have worked if nobody got hurt. But the owners just raised ticket prices, so they have problems of their own.
Yeah.
You traded away Luka Doncic, the most popular player on the team. You got back Anthony Davis, who has played part of one game, and who knows when he's going to be back. You just lost your best player, Kyrie Irving, and who knows when he is going to be back. So it just feels like it's completely over in Dallas at the moment. I was one of those guys, Mike, as you know, who thought in the near term that trade would work out. But that's because of Irving and Davis, because they had championship rings.
Yeah.
And they're gone, and nobody else on that team has a championship ring. Dallas at the moment is 33-30. They're in 10th place. The only thing that's going to keep them from dropping out of the play-in is Phoenix. Because Phoenix stinks. So Phoenix isn't going to catch them. Phoenix somehow, with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, they actually got worse. These two teams at the moment, Dallas and Phoenix, are disasters. They're disasters.
Yeah, but Phoenix is a different kind of – Phoenix is an on-court disaster, and you trade some people away, you do some – the Dallas thing, Tony, I said to somebody earlier, this is like the curse of the Bambino. I mean, this is like trading away Babe Ruth, and then the rest of it goes to hell. Trade away,
Mike,
Luka.
Mike, Nico Harrison took a master class in how to be a terrible GM. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, less than a year after coming off a trip to the NBA Finals, where it was all good. Sam Darnold, moving to the NFL, could be looking for a new team after the Vikings chose not to franchise tag him, a couple hours ago. Darnold had a Pro Bowl season for Minnesota and looked like a lock for a big deal himself before struggling in his last two starts. The team is reportedly still interested in working to re-sign him, but he now becomes an unrestricted free agent. Tone, if you were Darnold, would you want to stay?
So if I'm Darnold, it depends on the money. If the money isn't better anywhere else than it is in Minnesota, you could probably let me stay because I know that the coach at Minnesota brought out the best in me. And I know they like J.J. McCarthy, but I would have been on a team with him for a year, and I would have felt that I could work with him. Mike, this is such a small sample size of influence here. For 16 games, Sam Darnold was all-world. The Vikings were 14-2. He had 35 touchdowns, only 12 interceptions. They weren't going to franchise him. They were going to extend him. Okay, they had McCarthy. They liked McCarthy, but he was out for the whole year. This guy, Sam Darnold, was the bird in the hand. And then they lost to Detroit 31-9, and Darnold was bad in that game. He threw the ball 41 times, only gained 163 yards in the air, no touchdowns, a bad game. Followed it up with a bad game. His numbers were better in the playoff loss to the Rams, but they weren't appreciably better. So in those two games, Mike, his offense accumulated just one touchdown. They lost by combined scores of 58-18, and he had 11 sacks, and that's where we are right now. Like it all turned in two games.
Well, but it didn't, Tony. I'm going to tell you why it didn't. This conversation was already going on, and maybe I pay more attention to it because it's my division. It's a little off the beaten path for you I-95ers, but they weren't convinced about keeping Sam Darnold anyway. Because what they were concerned about is at some point next season, not the final two games, he was going to turn into, hello, Sam Darnold. And this conversation was already starting. They were waiting for Sam Darnold for the trap door to open and for him to fall through in Minnesota. Now, it's easier now. It's easier because he had those two games, and it provides an excuse. It changes the narrative. They didn't know. To answer our original question, would you want to stay? I think I would want to stay because I'm going to get more than a one-year deal because I'm not franchised. And if I can get, or if I can get from somebody else or whomever 3 years at $30 million each, $100 million or approaching that for Sam Darnold for a guy who was left for roadkill a year ago might be pretty good and a chance.
Before we get to the next story, why would anybody give him $30 million a year if he's fallen through the trap door in every city he's been in, according to you? No, not that much money. Not that much money. No. Let's move
keep
to
tabs
Duke.
on this.
Duke beat Wake Forest last night by 33 points. This is the fourth straight game Duke has won by more than 30. Cooper Flagg had 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals in what might have been his last game at Cameron, where he is now, 17-0. Wilbon, have the Blue Devils convinced you they are a dominant team?
Hell no. This is March 4th, isn't it? What are we talking about here? No. I'm not 19 years old. I've covered Georgetown when they dominated the regular season and didn't win. I covered I was around covering the ACC when they had a player named Michael Jordan. They didn't win. He won as a freshman, but they were great after that in the regular season. Didn't win. I've seen Duke teams be great in the regular season and not win. I've seen UNLV be great and just plow through people in the regular season and not win. So no, I can keep going, but I won't. Yeah. So, I know the ACC is down too, so it's easier to just plow through the ACC. But no, I've seen great teams be great in great conferences and have great seasons and flame out before holding a trophy on Monday night in March or April because they didn't get to do it.
Okay, so the question is, are they a dominant team? They are a dominant team in the ACC. They are 18-1 in the ACC. They have won 10 games by 25 or more points. Some years back, when the ACC was what we recognized, we would have said, yes, they are a dominant team. But the ACC isn't like it was when we covered in the 80s and 90s. It's not like that. They got 3 ranked teams. They got Duke, they got Clemson, they got Louisville. I read somewhere that there are 9 ACC teams that are outside the top 100, right? That's not good. Now, Duke has beaten Auburn, Mike. That's a great win. That's over the #1 team in the country. But it was December 5th in Cameron, and sadly, they're not playing the NCAAs in Cameron. Do I think they can win the national championship? Yes.
Sure.
Do I think they're a dominant team in the way that I thought UConn last year in their second year was a dominant team? No,
Good example.
I don't.
Good example.
Yeah, I don't think they are that kind of team at the moment. What interested me, I watched that game last night, what interested me the most was the Duke fans cheering one more year at Cooper Flagg. And I have to say, Mike, I agree with them. He's 18 years old. He can't play against men 30 to 35 years old physically. He can't do it. If I were him, I would consider getting $5 million from NIL, which would be easy for him, and play him. Get more than you can get in the pros, and then and then stay one more year, work on your physical. Larry Bird, who he's compared to all the time, wasn't Larry Bird 22 or 23 when he went to the NBA? Wasn't he?
At least 23 or 24. 18. Larry had worked a real job and gone back to school. He wasn't 18. No, you're right.
Yeah, the Eagles made Saquon Barkley the highest paid running back in history with a 2-year, $41 million contract extension. You happy for him?
Yeah, I am. I like running backs, but he's the only one making more than $20 million. Maybe it'll change the approach to running backs. The Jets have released Devontae Adams. Oh, your reaction.
They released Aaron Rodgers as well. They came as a tag team. Adams came there because of Rodgers. No point in being there now. The Yankees shutting down Luis Gil for at least 6 weeks due to a lat strain. Is that significant?
Yeah, it was Rookie of the Year, 15-7, 3.5 ERA. They got some depth in pitching, but you still want him. Bill Belichick and North Carolina will not be on HBO's Hard Knocks after the deal fell apart. Your thoughts?
I don't think college teams should be on that show anyway, but apparently there are owners in the NFL that did not want Belichick on NFL film. They must not like it. Last one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had his fourth 50-point game in 7 weeks. Big deal?
You with Jordan and Wilt, it's a big deal. But let me ask you this real quick. I know you don't vote anymore, but if you had a vote for MVP, SGA or Joker?
Too soon. 20 games left.
You want me to wait?
Too soon.
Hold my ballot? All right.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. Patrick Cullen, shout out.